Sorry everybody, it's Xilicks here, and welcome to week 7 of the MLBA. We're facing off against LuceyGoosey, and this matchup was pretty interesting because obviously you can see what mons were brought: Entei, Donphan, Celesteela, Shaman, Sylveon, and Uxie. There's also the potential of Nihilego, which I thought may have been brought over something like the Sylveon. There was a Druddigon in the back, things like Bidoof, lol. I think Bidoof was like the meme pick, but yeah, this is kind of the team I expected to be brought. The only difference I thought was maybe the Nihilego over the Sylveon, but I did prep for the Sylveon regardless. So looking at my team, I have a specially defensive Amoonguss because a lot of the mons that threaten, or sorry, a lot of the mons that Amoonguss is able to switch in on are special attackers. So things like the Nihilego, the Shaman, stuff like that. And then I have physically defensive Gastrodon because that is able to switch in on things like the Druddigon and the Entei and Donphan, stuff like that. So those are going to be my two primary defensive mons. I also have a somewhat bulky, mainly an attacking Empoleon to be able to take hits from things like the Sylveon and the Shaman. So that was obviously good bring because both of those got brought. I have Choice Scarf, Adamant, Emboar, because I was looking at the team and everything that switches into Zygarde does not switch into Emboar. So I didn't bring Megalopony this week. I think this is the only week so far where I haven't brought Megalopony. But honestly, like things like Celesteela, things like the Donphan and the Uxie and the Sylveon, like they just, and I was also predicting potentially a defensive Shaman, they all just switch into Megalopony pretty well. Obviously you can like take them out with prior damage and stuff, but I felt I didn't need it. I'm running Banded Zygarde this week. Usually I'm not a fan of Banded Zygarde, but there's really no 1000 arrow switching except for defensive Shaman. So if I can weaken Shaman, which obviously the Emboar can do, the Zapdos can do, the Amoonguss can do, with Shaman weakened, Zygarde just wins the game. Like nothing really takes a hit. Once, you know, there's just a little bit of damage on everything, Zygarde just wins the game. So I'm fearing defensive Shaman. I have ways of dealing with it, but it is going to be a problem. Unfortunately on Zygarde, I did have to run the Jolly because I was thinking Scarf Sylveon might come to potentially revenge kill, because he probably sees the problem with Zygarde. But if Zygarde is max speed Jolly, it outspeeds Scarf Sylveon by 1 point. So I do have that going for me, and maybe he won't bring Scarf Sylveon because of that. But anyways, let's just get into the battle. So I see the Uxie lead. I was predicting either the Uxie or the Donphan to lead because I assume that he'll just try to get his rocks up right away. So I decided to go with the Gastrodon, predicting the Donphan, but instead the Uxie was there. Now normally Gastrodon can deal with Uxie pretty well, but Uxie is able to run things like Energy Ball and stuff like that. So I did scout by going into my Empoleon while he just U-turns. That's obviously a good play and brings in the Celesteela. Now really I don't mind Empoleon being out against Celesteela that much, but I figured I might as well go into my Zapdos figuring that the Leech Seed would happen because this is going to pressure him a bit more. And I do go for the Thunder Wave onto the Sylveon, which if it was Scarfed, now it's going to be hindered greatly, and he just baton passes into the Shaman. Now, here I decided to stay in because if he Seed Flares, which is the likely play, then, you know, I can take it pretty well. Obviously, you can see he crit, which wasn't a huge deal. I didn't think that he would Earth Power because going into something like the Zapdos is a little bit too obvious. Like, Shaman, the set that his Shaman's running actually can't really touch the Zapdos. But here I just knock off and it reveals that he's a Crystal. So now I'm thinking, okay, he might be Bloom Doom to hit Zygarde. He might be Flyinium Z to hit Amoonguss. He might be, I don't know. So I go into Zapdos on the Earth Power, and here he fires off a Seed Flare, gets the special defense drop. So I figure if he has a Z move, he can probably knock me out with it here, but I'm just going to stay in anyways. And he does have the Shattered Psyche. Now this is good because now Amoonguss isn't as afraid, because a normal Psychic isn't going to be doing a ton of damage to Amoonguss, where the Shattered Psyche obviously is a lot more threatening. So I bring in my Emboar knowing that like he's not that defensive, he's not running any Aqua Berry or anything, I can just go into Emboar and click Flare Blitz. It does a lot of damage to this Uxie, and I'm going to click it again. Now, here he does miss a T-Wave. This is pretty unfortunate because, obviously, with Emboar being as fast as it is with the Choice Scarf, with the Thunder Wave, I think I still outspeed things like the Donphan, I think, and maybe the Sylveon. Yeah, obviously the Sylveon, because it's also paralyzed. So the Thunder Wave miss wasn't huge. It definitely matters a bit, though, because now I can still outspeed things like the Shaman. So yeah, in that regard, it matters a lot. For more of his defensive mons, though, I'm pretty sure I would still outspeed. He brings in Donphan here. Good play to get some chip, but I am going to just bring in the Gastrodon because I can soak up any hit from it, and if he does want to try to knock off or anything, I want to keep my item on the Emboar. So here, he brings in the Shaman. I just predict him to either try to predict me to switch, and he does heal up. Now, this is kind of unfortunate because I want this thing low on health, not gaining health. So I'm just going to kind of sit here with Gastrodon, and I think, well, no, I need to get this thing's health down. So I bring out the Amoonguss, and I go for the Sludge Bomb, and it's doing, what, 50? Yeah, 51%. So with the burn, this thing is not going to be able to sit here and synthesis all day. So he is going to switch out into the Donphan, take the Sludge Bomb, and then also take the Giga Drain after getting off an Earthquake. The Earthquake doesn't do too much damage, so that's fine. And then here, after his Donphan goes down, he's going to bring in the Entei. Now, I know a 100% fact he's switching this Entei into the Shaman. But I cannot act on this because if, for whatever reason, he does stay in and attack this Amoonguss, which is a fair play, if he does do that and I lose Amoonguss right here, I might lose the game. Because then I don't have a switch into Shaman. I don't have like an easy way of dealing with like Leech Seed on Celesteela. It's just, I need this Amoonguss around. So I make the safe play even though I know it's most likely the wrong play into Gastrodon. Kind of wishing I had Ice Beam because this Shaman has revealed itself to be very offensive. I just go for the Toxic here because like I know he's going to knock me out. The Rinnoberry doesn't matter. I was running Rinnoberry in case the Entei had like Bloom Doom or something. I think I took one off of a Solar Beam. But yeah, I knew he was gonna knock me out, and it's fine. I am able to bring out my Emboar. He does choose to sack the Shaman, and I believe I preserve Emboar here. I just sack Empoleon because Empoleon, he's done his job, and I don't need it anymore because Zygarde can just come in and click 1,000 arrows. Nothing is taking 2 at this point. Sylveon getting absolutely obliterated by the Bandit 1,000 arrows. The 2-8 KO, easy peasy. Celesteela is going to come out. Now, because I preserve my Amoonguss, I am going to be able to put the Celesteela to sleep. This is a huge misplay, in my opinion, on his behalf, letting this thing get spored, because now I'm able to kill this thing with Zygarde, no problem. I bring the Zygarde out on the Uxie, which is just going... Something dies right here 100% of the time, so he is going to let the Uxie go down. And now, because the Celesteela is asleep, I do get 1 guaranteed 1,000 arrows off. And he is going to wake up after this turn right away, which is kind of annoying because he goes for a Protect. But it's not going to matter because he did get smacked down the 1,000 arrows. The next one is going to kill. I think what he should have done was gone into the Uxie to let it get slept. Maybe he wasn't predicting the Spore. But because I was able to sleep the Celesteela, I am able to win the game with Zygarde. So the inverse of this could have been... had he let the Uxie get slept and then let it die, he could have gone, or I guess keep it around so that way Sleep Clause is active, and then obviously I can't put the Celesteela to sleep as well. So then the Celesteela could potentially beat the Zygarde if he had like HP Ice or something. I don't know if he did or not, but if he was able to knock out the Zygarde or at least put it into Bandit E-Speed range with Entei, then he could have sacked the Uxie and then maybe won the game with Entei, assuming that a Choice Scarf superpower doesn't kill Entei. It might. I don't know the calc. But obviously, he would have had a better shot if he let the Uxie go to sleep. Maybe he wasn't predicting sleep, as I mentioned. But yeah, that is going to be the game. A nice 3-0 victory to bounce back a little bit from that big loss. That's kind of how this... that's kind of how this season has been going for me. Like, I lose a bunch of differential, and then I get a little bit back, and then I lose a bit more, and then I get a little bit back. So I think right now we're like minus 9 differential. The rest of the season is just going to be our divisional rematches, and then also I think there's 2 other regular games. So if I'm able to win a lot from here on out, I do have a chance of playoffs. Right now I am at the bottom of my division, but with the rematches, the divisions get shook up a lot. So I'm not totally out of playoffs, but I'm not looking very good for it. So I definitely have to step it up and have more games like this and games from 2 weeks ago. So I need to sit there, think about my plays, prep well, and play well. So if I'm able to do that, we might have a shot at playoffs, and we'll see where we go from here. So I will catch you guys next week. Okay, thanks, bye.